Last month, LifeSpring's high school youth group took a trip to Casa Hogar Los Angelitos in Manzanillo, Mexico. Our trip began at 3:30 on Saturday morning as we met up to drive to DIA. A delayed flight out of Denver was just the start of a long travel day. From Denver, we flew to the Dallas-Fort Worth airport. Then we continued our flight down to Guadalajara, Mexico.
First impression of Mexico was that it's a lot more poverty than I've ever seen.
Even though it was dusty and a lot of poverty, I still thought it was beautiful.
We then took a grueling 4-hour bus ride to Manzanillo.
Driving through the city, there was someone, while we were traveling, there was someone laying on the road and he was most likely dead, and that was just quite a shock to see.
After 16 hours of planes, taxis, and buses, we arrived late Saturday night in Manzanillo, Mexico. On Sunday morning, we went to a local church service and we were able to meet or reunite with many kids from the orphanage.
Church on Sunday morning was a lot of fun, and the people there were very grateful to be able to worship.
Then we headed off to Nancy's for lunch, where many of the boys from Casa Hogar joined us to eat and swim. That evening, we went to the orphanage for a brief session of worship and drama. Afterwards, we went to a community event to see the kids perform.
Seeing them dance on Sunday night was so amazing. I can't even comprehend how much work that takes to learn those steps, to wear those dresses in that heat, and to just do it with finesse. They just do it with no problem whatsoever, and they do it with a smile. Just to see how much hard work they put into those dances, it really pays off, because it is so cool to see them dance like that.
Monday was our first full day at the orphanage. Our morning session involved more worship through singing. There were also some new songs we taught the kids. And each day, our youth group took turns teaching a lesson about leadership and sharing their testimony.
Our group's lesson was that you don't have to be an authority figure to be a leader, and that you can lead by example in everyday situations. And it wasn't really that relevant to the lesson, but I thought it would be fun to blindfold some of the kids and have their leader guide them to various objects around the room.
I just gave my testimony, and it was really hard to do, but the kids were accepting of it.
After our lesson, we began working. Some of us packed food for an outreach we'd be going on the next day, while others began scraping a wall in preparation for new paint we would be applying later that week.
It's raining sideways!
Hey! Greetings from Manzanillo! We wish you were here with us! It's gorgeous! We're having a great time! Actually, that's not true. Our mission trip now has a new mascot. His name is Andres, as in Hurricane Andres. 75-mile-an-hour winds, sustained rain, flooding. It's great! Hey, seriously, we just want you to know, we came through the hurricane fine. No worries. We're wet, but we're really, really relaxed. So thanks for praying for us. Sorry I have to yell at you. This has been Pastor Jeff Berg doing his impersonation of Geraldo Rivera here on the Pacific Ocean in Manzanillo.
Oh my gosh. That was brutal.
Because of the approach of Hurricane Andres, we were unable to go to Casa Hogar.
When I first heard that there was a hurricane coming, I was angry that we couldn't go to Casa Hogar that day, and I was also worried because I had read about hurricanes in science class, and I was really scared.
but we were still productive. That morning, we walked along the beach and helped store owners move furniture off the shore in preparation for the storm.
I thought it was really cool that even though we weren't able to go to Casa Hogar that day, that God was still able to use us.
We spent the rest of the day watching Spanish television and waiting out the storm. After the uneventful passing of Hurricane Andres, it was back to work at the orphanage. We resumed the routine of a lesson in the morning, followed by more wall work.
It was hard to see the living conditions of the migrant workers.
One of our outreaches was to bring food and clothes to impoverished migrant workers.
Part of me was really mad because they were living right next to their foreman, who had a house and water and everything like that, but they were living under a tarp with no water and no other shelter. But after seeing the people and seeing the kids, it just really reassured me that God has everybody in His hand, because those kids showed signs of joy, they showed signs of happiness. I mean, it took them a little while to kind of warm up to us, but once they did, I mean, you just see these gigantic smiles and the joy that they get from the tiniest things.
Thursday also consisted of a morning lesson.
We also took the passage from John 13 about Jesus washing the disciples' feet, and so we incorporated that into our activity by washing the kids at Casa Hogar's feet.
Painting then began after the wall had been completely scraped and sealed. And for those who weren't painting, a basketball camp took place after the successful completion of a new basketball hoop. On our second outreach, we visited a rehab center for drug and alcohol addicts.
Going there was intense. Seeing the ages that were there.
Some of these people are so young. Just the age range.
When he was only 3 or 4 years old, a relative offered him drugs, and he has been addicted ever since, and now he's 16.
But we prayed for them and did a skit to show them that God has power over their addictions. Instead of the usual work that would follow our leadership sessions, we were given the opportunity to learn some of the folkloric dance steps that most of the Casa Hogar kids knew.
Friday morning when we learned how to dance was so hard. I was so tired on Saturday.
It was fun to see how hard it actually is and how much it hurts afterwards.
We were also able to finish our painting project on the outside wall. That evening, there was a group gathering where many of the younger kids performed their folkloric dances and other fun presentations. Notes and pictures were exchanged as we said a difficult goodbye.
It was really sad to go, but most of them kept reminding you that they'd see you again, and so that'd make you happy.
It was definitely hard to say goodbye.
Even as we concluded our trip, the memories we made will live on.